We are live here on Plus One EXP's Roll for Content channel. My name is Tony Vicenda. I'm Chief Alchemist here at Plus One EXP. We're a weird little brand that multi-classes in tabletop game design, beard and skincare alchemy, and the Bardic College of Content Creation. Our hope and desire is to help amazing designers find great players who love their game and help amazing players find great designers who games they can love. And today, as always, on the final Friday of the month, we are having a funeral party brought to you in part by our good friends over at Exalted Funeral. I've got my buddy Jared with me as always. Jared, go ahead and tell people who you are, what you do for people who don't know you, and tell us a little bit about your costume today.
I'm a big red dog.
Awesome. Any particular one?
Let's just not say the name out loud to avoid copyright infringement. But let's just say there's a feature film coming up soon starring the character that I am dressed as today, and I'm gonna watch it.
Awesome. Well, I'm super excited to see you watch the feature film with you in it. I had a teenager walk up to me just a second ago who's perched near me, so I'm going to turn to them real quick. All right, they just wanted to use the Xbox. We're all good. All right, so it is Funeral Friday. As always, we want to let people know there's a couple different giveaways we've got going. If you go over to Twitter right now to @plus1exp and retweet the go live tweet for this stream, you're going to get entered into a chance to win a $25 gift certificate to the Exalted Funeral store. We've also got a couple other giveaways we'll talk about in just 1 minute. I am going to open those up also. I do want to let you know I am dressed up. You can guess who I'm dressed up as we go along, but hop on over to Twitter real quick. Go to that @plus1exp, retweet that tweet, get entered to win, and let people know that we've gone live here at the funeral party. We also do have in 5 minutes another thing that's going to go live. And Jared, do you want to tell people a little bit about that, or is that part of what we're going to talk about in a second?
We'll talk about it in a second.
All right. Talk about it in a second. Well, with that said, let's go ahead and dive in. Today, let's start with the hearse. We're going to talk about what's on the way to Exalted Funeral. Different things that are about to come out or that we are looking forward to from Exalted Funeral.
That is a lovely hat, my friend. A lovely hat.
Yeah. I recently read a Shakespearean story, and this happened. I don't know what's up.
Did you?
But yeah, so tell us a little bit about what's on the way. What does the hearse have in it this month? What are we looking forward to from Exalted Funeral?
The hearse has a bunch of exciting stuff on the way right now. I'm checking to see if it went live. Yep, looks like it went live.
It is live. So if you have not yet, if you're waiting for the go live for the Halloween sale, it is up. It is going. So what are some of the things that we're looking forward to in the Halloween bundles?
So I'm going to look at it from, I'm going to pretend that I am looking at the internet because I'm actually looking at the internet. So we got 3 big new releases today. We're going to talk about the other ones in a second. Ghost of person who's not here. Don't worry. I thought I heard a ghost. So first up is Rites of Vengeance by Reverend Uncle Bastard. Edited by my very good friend Fiona Maeve Geist, and a cover by another good friend, Johan Noir. It's based on, or it uses Chris Bassett's Wretched and Alone. I want to let that one kind of speak for itself. It is some heady material, something that is close to things. It is a beautiful risograph printed zine that we had done at Vita Press in Toronto. Thank you, Reverend, for finding Quentin. So that's up and on sale. We also have Nightcrawlers by Tanner Yeh. See, I got it right, Tanner. Which is it is a hack of the Black Hack, in which you play teenage monsters. So you play lycanthropes, you play vampires, and you are out to save the world. That one is near to me because I absolutely love the Black Hack. It's the book that I liked so nice that they thanked me twice in it. And David's also a good buddy. And I am always down to pick up and run a new hack when they come out. It's just, the art is just spectacular. It just gives the cover just says Nightbreed, which some of you know, the classic film based off of Clive Barker's short story. Maybe? No? I'm too old.
I'm with you.
Okay.
I just realized that you can't hear anybody but me, and so if I don't respond, then you're worried no one's with you, and so I'm with you.
I thought I heard a ghost earlier, though.
I heard the ghost knocking around earlier also. We'll see if we can find him later.
And then also Let Us In, which is a system, a self-made little system that Luca Reyes did. Luca, I think I got your last name pronounced right. I know I don't get to say it very often, but I think I got it. It too is a beautiful risograph printed zine, and it has a really awesome postcard. As one of the few people who's seen this thing all the way through, it's Luke even used my quote for ad copy. It is glorious. Y'all are gonna love it. I can't wait to actually get a physical copy in my hand for me after y'all get yours. And that is also available in bundles with what do we got? Where is that? It's all of the Last Line stuff. It includes Witchburner and both Long Winter's Visitor's Guide and Ref's Guide. There are also some shirts. There's a Witchburner shirt. Oh, damn, and the Let Us In shirt. See, I didn't know about the shirts. Thanks, Matt. Thanks, Kristen. And cue Matt laughing. Me, I'm like, ha, ha, ha. Looks like we got a restocks of issues of the Phylactery as well. And I think that's what we got.
Awesome. Sweet.
Well, there's 3 more things, but we're gonna wait until that goes.
We're gonna wait for the rest of those. So go ahead and get stuff in your cart. You might want to do multiple checkouts because it's also time. That's everything in the hearse right now. That's everything coming in, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So now,
I guess
other than those 3 things, we're going to talk about in a second. That's everything in the hearse. All right. So now we are gonna look at the obits. This is the arted items from Exalted Funeral, things that are about to go out of stock. Or that are out of stock. So
I just want to commend your commitment to safety, even though you're inside and in your studio.
I just read a book about the Tour de France, and this happened. I don't know.
It's so good.
It just shifted up, and so. But yeah. So tell us a little bit about what are some of the things that we're worried about going out of stock quick, that people want to act quickly on so that they don't miss out on an opportunity to get them.
I did want to spotlight 2 of the new things that Let Us In and Rites of Vengeance, those being Rizzo printed. Those are smaller releases. Once those runs are done, there's a pretty solid chance that we're not going to reprint them in that fashion. Not saying we won't, but those are limited quantity items. Yeah, there's a lot of other good stuff, but I feel like if I talk too much about the other stuff that's kind of going out, we won't have anything left for the Black Friday sale.
What is out? What are people like? What's gone? Y'all need to restock on what recently has gone out of stock that you're just super excited about and you want to get back in stock if you can.
I hope Sam Sorensen's watching. Sam Sorensen, I'm coming at you from the internets. I know you're in a cave somewhere because you're a lowlife. Lowlife is a wonderful, crunchy zine all about caving and exploring. Do you have one nearby? Look at that. And it's just super fabulous. as a person who just doesn't, I don't like a lot of crunch myself. It is like to the level of crunch that it's just kind of like it's chewy. It's like it's, you know how with Reese's cups, like
Yeah.
the original Reese's cup is perfect, but then you get you get the big cups and there's like too much chocolate, or you get the Halloween eggs and stuff, which I had one earlier, and there's too much peanut butter.
Right.
But low life it's that perfect amount of crunch.
That perfect amount. Yeah. So we played Low Life here on stream with Sam. We had him get run up for us using Down We Go as the operating system. Sam almost managed a TPK, but like I don't get scared in games a lot. And Low Lives is not a horror game, but when things start to go wrong in Low Life, it escalates very quickly. And Sam almost TPK'd us with fairly normal swarm of ants coming after us using Low Life. It is like an intensely amazing system. If you're looking for some caving things to kind of throw on top of any D20 system you're using or any OSR thing, it's absolutely phenomenal. The little mini adventure that it came with for this last printing is phenomenal. Really great. I hope y'all can get it back in stock too. Sam's a nice fella. Maybe it'll happen. We'll see. But that's good. So anything else that we need to worry about? We've got let us in Rites of Vengeance that are going to go out really quick, we know, and we've got Low Life that just went out of stock. Other than that, we'll see what happens between this month and next month, right?
Mm-hmm. I know that Fiona and Kristen have been kicking major ass. I get to see all of the things as they come in the different chats and stuff like that on the spreadsheets in the store. Y'all are in for a really, really good one. They have totally outdone themselves, and I've done some too. I've got some secrets coming for Black Friday, but those two, they just absolutely mountains of emails, and they have made it amazing. So
awesome. I'm looking forward to it. Let's dive into that's everything kind of in the news for the last little bit. Let's go ahead and talk a little bit about a creator that inspires us. It's absolutely time for the So every month on Funeral Party, we summon from beyond the grave, which means we have to pull them through space and time because a lot of these people are still alive. So not only is this somebody who is dead in the future, it's their soul from the future that we've ripped back through time and space to come and talk with us. Today we're going to be talking about Kirby Franklin. Kirby, phenomenal person who I love in life and continue to love in death. Died by stepping on a rake and getting hit in the head. Was his Crocs were in 4-wheel drive when he died. I don't know what that means, but maybe we can summon his spirit right now. If we all type Kirby Franklin's name into the chat, maybe we can summon Kirby's ghost from beyond the grave. Let's see right now. Kirby, are you there? Are you there with us?
I think so. That was quick.
That was quick?
I was just waiting.
You're just waiting on the other side for somebody to say your name at least 3 times, but probably a whole lot more.
Yes, I don't have my mullet anymore. I'm sorry.
Are things not going well on the other side? Is that what you're telling us?
It's really dark.
Like, if you're really looking to get back to 2021, things have to be dark on the other side.
Yeah. Yeah, very much so.
So Kirby, you've done a lot in your life, but some of those things are in the future. We can't talk about them yet. If you want to give us any insight, you're absolutely welcome to as we go along. But this month in our time, did you have 3 titles released on Exalted Funeral during the course of 1 month?
I did, yes.
And what were those titles, just for anybody out there who may not be familiar with them? Tell us a little bit about who you are, what you do, and some of the great things you've had come out on Exalted Funeral.
Okay, well, hi, I'm Kirby. I use he, they pronouns, and I am new to this entirely. But I really love role-playing games, so I just started writing them. And This month we had Paranormal, Slasher, and Bucket Bash on Exalted Funeral, and that was really cool. It was really exciting.
Awesome. Let's make Jarrett talk about each one a little bit, and then you can add in some of your thoughts on why you made them. Jarrett,
I hope you read them.
Jarrett, tell us a little bit about.
I totally didn't.
Jarrett, tell us a little bit about Bucket Bash.
Bucket Bash is my favorite of the three. It really is. So you are playing as kids out on Halloween, going around to pick up candy at houses as you do. As a kid who loves candy, I want to play this as a LARP. We will play it at a LARP at a convention in some universe someday. You can possibly run into those awful, horrible teenagers that will try to steal your candy, or the dentist who will give you a toothbrush or an apple. Nobody likes that. Or scary monsters who you will then have to do Kirby, it's not really like rock, paper, scissors with the candy, but it's a
yeah. It's kind of actually it is a little bit.
It's like a trading game. You have to pick up the game to learn all about it. But it's going to be an excuse for me as LARPing it to just sit there and eat a shit ton of candy.
Yeah,
which I don't really need that excuse because I kind of do that once a week. But I really loved it.
If only there was a time coming up soon where maybe in December, where everybody could come to Philadelphia if they're vaccinated and it's safe for them to travel, and come to an event here, and we could just all LARP this game together in person.
That would be so much fun.
Maybe some sort of event where everything is unplugged and something like that. I don't know. Maybe we could make that happen.
I don't know anything about this, and so I'm like, can we pause the show so I can look at my calendar so I can be
PAX Unplugged is in December.
Okay, cool. I've never been to a PAX. I need to get to one of them.
Come on over. Or up, I guess I should say. It's pretty much straight. So awesome. So we've got Bucket Bash. By the way, if you have any questions for Kirby about any of these things, or about what's going to happen in the future, please feel free to go ahead and get those ready. Type them in. We'll also have an opportunity for you to ask any of us questions a little bit later about things going on in the RPG industry or at Exalted Funeral. So get those questions ready. But right now we want to focus on Kirby stuff, and then we've got Paranormal after that. Tell us a little bit about Paranormal, Jarrett.
Paranormal is a 2-player game. One player plays as the Spectre, the Ghost, the Haunt, and the other plays as the Ghost Hunter. It's a nice 2-player role-playing game. Say you have a partner or a friend who is like, I don't know about RPGs. Some people just aren't comfortable with making up a character. With this, it's like they kind of the modes are there, the tropes are there. Like you're this and that, because I mean at this point everyone's at least remotely been exposed to some version of Ghost Hunter, Tracker, something. I mean, I turn my TV on sometimes, and it's like I get blasted like by 4 different shows about people going to haunt. I mean, even AHS did like a riff on the people doing the show, which I didn't like that season as much.
Awesome.
But I liked Paranormal, which is when Kirby posted it on EF. I was like, can we print that? Because it fits our vibe. It fits what we do. And then if I can wax Rhapsodic for just a second, I reached out and was like, hey, can we do that? And Kirby was like, yeah, cool. And then Kirby said, we have another one. And by the we, I mean, Kirby doesn't do this by himself. Kirby,
yes, I'm going to bring that up in a second.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Kirby's partner, who I really want to get on the show, but she won't come on the show, which is fine. Kristen is amazing. The art design is like you will not be disappointed if you pick these books out. And then so Kirby was like, hey, I've got another one, and I was just like, yes, please. And then I was on the phone talking to Kristen because we were working out the plan of getting lettuce in at the right time and some other stuff. And Kristen was like, do they have a third one? And I was like, well, let me find out. And I was like, Kirby, do you have a third one? And they were like, yeah. And I was like, let's do it. So each the third one being slasher. Look at that segue.
There you go.
Good. Where it's an all versus one. So one person is the slasher is your Michael Myers. Is your Freddy. And the rest are the teens. And the thing I really liked about paranormal and slasher is the use of the clocks mechanism. You know what I mean? Like raising tension, like making these games happen in a finite amount of time. Like we all know and love RPGs where we can sit and goof and play for 3 to 12 hours or 2 days or whatever. But it's again one of those things when you're introducing people new to the stuff, having it where it has closure, or at least some sort of projected closure, and that is within the 2 hour range, about the length of an average movie. That's not a bad thing. It's a really good thing.
Yeah, that was kind of our goal. We wanted to have games that could be played in a shorter period of time that are just kind of definitive. And we actually added that in Bucket Bash as like an optional ending for the curfew clock. So that's just like if you want to make the game a little bit shorter, you just use that as the optional ending for the game too. But yes, my partner Kristen is awesome, and she does all the art for these. Well, did all the art for these games, and we have 2 more games coming out next month that she's doing all the artwork for those too, and layout and everything. And she's also very good at coming up with fixes for problems I run into when I'm trying to design these things. So it's really cool to have her as a sounding board partner in this whole thing. So
awesome. Love it. For whatever reason, my giveaway on the stuff on the back end isn't working right now. So that's what I've been frantically trying to fix while we're doing this. But I love all 3 of these. I'm super excited to be able to play this. I'm not going to lie. Slasher is the one that I'll probably get to the table this weekend. I'm very, very excited to sit down with some folks and give it a play tomorrow night, I'm hoping. And so I am looking forward to that. By the way, if you're out there watching right now, we'd love to know what you're planning on playing this weekend or which one of these 3 caught your eye. But these are all 3 available right now over on Exalted Funeral. So if you're hopping over to pick up that bundle or anything else that we talked about today before it goes out of stock, pick up these games also too. Like, get them. They're there. Make them not available anymore also.
Yeah.
But please leave 1 copy for me, because I still need to remember to send myself copies and Kirby copies.
Yeah, I want to have a copy of my own game, please.
We shall make this happen, I promise.
All right. We're going to generate a new token in just 1 second to see if we can get everything reconnected for all those giveaways. If not, I'll just figure out another way to do it in just a second. But with that said, Kirby, we got a couple questions we want to ask you about the way that you died, about things that are going on for you in the afterlife, and just kind of some general questions from the audience as well. So let's talk about those. The first one is, what did you do with your remains? Like what happened with your remains when you died?
Luckily, they were smuggled onto a Monarch X shuttle, and it was actually careened into the sun.
Awesome.
Elon Musk was on board, so luckily.
So was he also dead, or did he just
100%. No, okay. he was it was an accident, but he did die.
Good,
thankfully.
Good to know. What's one thing you hope people say about you at your funeral?
Just something nice would be great. I try.
Anything nice? Hey, people, if you're out there watching right now, say some nice things about Kirby. Apparently, whatever you're going to say at their funeral, now is the time. Jarrett, you got anything nice you want to throw out?
Kirby had a wonderful beard, which is, well, if Kirby was in a casket, it would have only gotten even more wonderful, I guess, because you got blasted into the sun. Kirby had a wonderful beard.
I don't have an authenticator there, and this is all a new phone. Import existing accounts. None of this is helpful. All right.
That is true, Ifrit.
No, that's awesome. All right, we've got a couple nice things coming in. Kirby has an excellent taste in furniture and games. Brought positivity and enthusiasm to the Necropolis discourse. Here lies Kirby. His taste for grindcore was stellar.
That's true.
Spirit plan. Yeah, so lots of good things to say about our good buddy Curbs. What song did they play as you were lowered into the ground? Or
Eclosion
shot into the sun in this situation?
Shot into the sun is the same thing. Eclosion by Alcest, I think. I have a lot of favorites, but I think that's probably one of my top favorite songs.
Awesome. And then what is one game that somebody else has made that you want to be buried with?
I would say Dungeon Crawl Classics is probably a good choice.
Awesome.
Because you can play that for eternity.
And you can also if you need to defend yourself.
Yeah.
The core book is pretty thick. Yeah. Love it.
What if we all end up in some sort of Valhalla-like afterlife playing one RPG for all eternity? What do you hope the theme and core mechanic are, and what's in your cup while you're playing?
Some form of horror dark fantasy game, and I'm thinking the mechanic would be how full the cup is, and what is in my cup would be bullet rye.
There we go. What inspires you? Like, what are some of the things that you look at out there in the world that kind of inspire you as you're going about creating?
A lot of the other game designers in the community are pretty much the main inspiration for me, as I'm pretty much brand new to this entire world. But the absolute number one, I think, in the past month or two that has really started to like turn my gears in the way that I think about writing is Adam Vass, because their games are just wild. And I think the one that really set me into a different mode of thinking was when I got Butterfly from them in the mail. And I was reading through it and I was just like, how the fuck do you make a game mechanic out of a block being crooked on the table? So then I was like, now I'm going to do something like that.
Like, it also makes me really happy you said Butterfly specifically. Like, Adam has made so many games. I own more Adam Voss games and game products than anybody except for maybe Phil Reed. And I also know that Butterfly was like a very personal game for Adam. And lots of times, like, the personal games are not like, you don't necessarily know how they impact things or how people receive them. And so it's always kind of good to hear other creators who picked up a game and are like, this matters for me. Cause I think Butterfly is amazing.
Yeah.
And I wish more people would pick it up and check it out. So
yeah,
that's awesome. And then I think it's great time to just kind of open it up to all of our viewers out there. Like, what do people want to know? So if you're out there watching right now and you have a question, I know I saw one just a little while ago that I'm scrolling back up looking for. But basically, you just hopped into the RPG scene for a lot of people's perspective. Like, you and I started interacting, I feel like, around it's getting close to a year now, right?
Yeah, it was probably in March, I think, was like the first time I might have spoken with you.
Yeah. And but it has been a pretty quick time, and now, like, just had 3 games come out in a month. You're interacting with a lot of people, helping build a lot of community, both in Discords, but also like on TikTok with the Beggar Talk community and other things like that. What has been, like, for you as you've kind of stepped into this space, what's been most exciting and what's kind of been most challenging for you?
Oh, that's hard. The most exciting, I think, is realizing that there was a place for my creativity that before was just kind of locked in my head. Being able to express all these different weird things that I have going on in dozens of different ways is kind of an awesome thing to be able to do. Especially, I mean, I have ridiculously bad ADHD, so honestly, writing RPGs is kind of like my capstone hobby. It's like the thing that really like pulled all of my interests together and made a fix for me, I guess. What was the other question? Speaking of ADHD.
What inspired, like what pushed you, like what have been some of the good things, but what have been some of the challenges was the other
Some of the
question.
challenges? Okay, I will use Crust, since people are asking about it, as an example of challenges and also an example of what not to do when you want to write a role-playing game. You do some research about how to do stuff before you start doing stuff. Because holy shit, I embarrassed myself, in my opinion. Personally, I embarrassed myself to myself. Just like how confident I was in this project when I had no idea what I was doing. That's probably my biggest challenge / lesson I would love to pass on to the rest of people.
Tell us, for people who don't know, tell us a little bit more practically about how you humiliated yourself. I don't think you humiliated yourself, but that's your perspective, to unpack that a little bit more for us.
So I started writing this game like 9 months ago, and I didn't really know anything about game development or anything. I just started writing a game because I really wanted to. And I think it was like 3 weeks before I was asking people to play test it. And like, it was not a thing at all. It didn't even exist. It was a lot of words on paper, but there wasn't really anything there. And I couldn't see that because I think I didn't have anybody really tell me that it wasn't. People were like, yeah, I'll play test this. And then they just take it and just like disappear. And I'd never talk to them again, you know? But like, eventually I had one of my friends be like, dude, this is completely unplayable. Like you need to, and in like a nice way, he was like, this is a list of things you need to consider when you're writing a game this big. Like for the games that I wrote this past month, those are small little things, but Crust is like an OSR, not rules light necessarily, but pretty dense game at this point. And so there's a lot to go over and a lot to do. And I just was not ready for it, but I thought I was. Awesome. So that's kind of made me feel like an idiot after I realized how far in I was. And I was like, oh my God, what in the fuck was I thinking doing this?
I remember you sent me a copy and I read like the first page or two. And then like, I was just like, I'll come back to this at some point. And then you messaged me like a little while later, like, hey, did you read it? And you were like, and I was like, no, I haven't. You were like, oh, that's fine. That's fine. Don't.
Yeah. I was like, oh yeah, don't even, I just please don't. Just don't bother.
I love it. So for now that we talked a little bit about it, I want to come back a little bit more to like some of the points you kind of pulled that came up in there, but tell us a little bit about what are some of the specific things around Crust that you're excited about? Like you mentioned, it's OSR, it's dense, but give us a little bit more of like the elevator pitch for what you're hoping to do with Crust.
Crust, in my opinion, is OSR inspired, but definitely a little bit heavier, less rules light than a lot of other OSR games. Uses a dice pool system. It is kind of pretty packed with a lot of different world building tools and stuff like that. Settlement generators, dungeon generators, overland hex crawls, lots of random encounters and loot tables and all kinds of stuff like that. But the elevator pitch for the game is it is a crustpunk dystopian off-world monster slayer. So you're playing as crustpunks on a planet that is owned and operated by major corporations, and they mine for this mineral, and you got stranded there, or you traveled there, or whatever, however you ended up there. And it's a super hostile planet, so you have to survive and do some work. And crustpunks are lazy. I used to be one. So you kind of, as a crustpunk, got to suck it up and, you know. But I'm really excited about it. I got some cool stuff in the works. Dumpster diving, busking, our mechanics in the game. And then there's some cool, like, monster tables and stuff for, like, creating these giant hideous nightmares and stuff like that. So
awesome. And if people want to be able to follow that or check it out, do you have a public playtest version of it now? Or are you just kind of waiting and sitting? Where's it at in development?
Oh, I absolutely do. And I'm going to post a link right in the chat.
You can't. You just drop me that link in Discord and I'll post it in the chat for you, though.
So I actually am currently itch funding an ashcan for this game. And it is going to go to raising some money for 1 second, I gotta find you in Discord.
That's fine. I found the link already.
Okay, cool. Yeah, it's the funding for the itch funding goal is to raise money for some final production for the game in the future. And if you pick up the doc as is, you will get a series of updates over the next period of 3 or 4 months, with basically condensed versions of what will be in the final game. So there will be a ton of random encounter tables. When in the update I release with random encounters for the Ash Can, there will be like maybe a D20 random encounter table as an example of what will be in the final copy of the book. But yeah, right now there's a super condensed, basically just combat mechanics, how to roll up nightmares, and character creation, and like 1 or 2 other things. And then, but I am planning an update in 3 weeks with some new stuff. So yeah.
Awesome. I am super excited about it, largely because it's one of the ways that I met you, and that's been, regardless of how well the original playtest packet went, it was good to meet you through you sharing that with me. So if you haven't gotten to check out that It's Funny thing, I did drop that in the link over here on Twitch. I'll update the show notes later to include that also too if you're watching this after the fact on YouTube or anywhere else. But you should go check it out. You can also find everything that you do over at disastertourism.itch.io or at DTRPGS over on Twitter also too. So we have we're going to switch into our final segment. I am still working on the giveaway. It's almost ready to open up. So please stick around if you can. Also, if you didn't retweet the Go Live tweet, you can hop over to +1EXP on Twitter and do that to get entered into a chance to win a $25 gift certificate. But let's go ahead and enter into our last segment of the show, which is a new last segment. It's called Dark Expressions. All right, Dark Expressions is a new segment we're doing. Originally, the concept was Jarrett and I were going to play a 5-minute RPG with our guest at the end, and we never got going on that or figured out a way to do it. But over the course of the last little bit, I've been looking at hex crawls a little bit, a lot more intentionally, thinking about what makes a good one, what doesn't. Thinking about, hey, what can we do here every single month that would be a fun thing that we could invite the audience to share a little bit with, but that also that we could just really kind of do something to celebrate the creator whose ghost we've summoned from beyond death to talk to us. And the thought was, what if we made a hex that was entirely inspired by the work of that creator? Then at the end of like the year, we could put them all together and have like a 12 hex crawl. It was all inspired by different Exalted creators, put a little bit of art to it, something else like that. I don't know. We'll at least have them. I don't know. We'll figure out what we're going to do with it, but we're going to make one inspired by Kirby's work today. So y'all are going to be able to toss in if you've played any of those 3 games, if it's something about Crust Punk, if you've looked at any of that work, that's great. Otherwise, as we're talking, if something just sounds like a cool idea, you're welcome to shout it out into the chat. Our goal is to get at least D4 of most things. If we get more good ideas, we'll go bigger, but we're just going to start with D4. I'm going to pop the working document up on the screen so everybody can kind of see it as we go, but we'll make these available for everybody. I'll create a public doc. Anybody will be able to access these and look at them whenever they want to, but we're going to make a hex together once a month. And today, first up, we've got Kirby with us. We'll also go back and we'll have our previous guest. We'll do a hex inspired by their work also too. But with that said, Kirby,
I was going to say, except for Kevin. We're not going to do Kevin's.
Not Kevin. Kevin's dead. All the other guests we've ever had, we'll have Kevin. Kevin's dead. I mean, in the future, but also to us. And so, so the first question we've got to find out. Kirby, this is inspired by you. This is created around you. What is the vibe of this hex? If you're watching right now and you think you know a good way to describe Kirby's vibe, you can go ahead and type that into the chat for us. But what's the vibe? I also love how you're like, and I'm like, I gave you these in advance. You knew this was coming.
Well, yeah, but now I'm thinking about it. What is the vibe? I want to go with I want to be inspired by Bucket Bash for this one. I think the vibe is going to be like a dark cul-de-sac with like a dozen or so houses. Large houses.
Awesome. So we've got, I'm gonna type, we've got a dozen houses, right? I'm going to hop down to physical features and locations for that. So we've got a dark cul-de-sac. We've got about a dozen houses. Do any of them kind of stand out? Any other physical features we're looking at? Anything else that's on the cul-de-sac that's worth noting as people come into this hex?
What do you think, Jarrett?
Well done, because I mentioned it. I totally am. I wanted to say that, because as I was typing at YouTube this afternoon while we were getting prepped, I was watching some Unsolved Mysteries in the background. So it's got to have a really totally awesome theme song.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
It's got to be like that Unsolved Mysteries meets Carpenter's Halloween theme. Like, I don't know if you get that. Somebody out there who does music, who does the synth.
If only we had somebody who'd created some dope stingers for this show.
Only if someone who maybe is listening or watching.
I love that. I think that's a good what's unique about it. Like theme songs, like ominous theme songs and music play as you move around.
That actually inspires me to a second physical feature. I think that there is an ice cream truck driving around the cul-de-sac very, very slowly and never stopping.
Now you're speaking my language. You
playing the theme song.
Oh. Drives around and never stops.
I think when this gets released, they're going to be able to be like, I say, this is definitely the Halloween episode. This is definitely the Halloween hex.
Yeah, but then they're going to watch next month and they're going to be like, was this the Halloween episode?
Right, exactly.
So
the April episode, they're going to be, that one's the Halloween episode too.
Tripfort says 1 in D66 chance of finding Kevin. Yes. Full candy bars for trick or treat. We'll get to loot in a second. We'll pull back some. Halo Hand, Halo Hand is so good to see that you're out there listening right now. We've got a couple things. So Robin said the Elm Street house that's on sale for $3.5 million right now could be one of the locations.
Oh shit!
A giant dead tree as another location option. In either of those strike y'all, you got another location. If not, we can come back to it at the end. We want at least D4 encounters. So these would be things that you would have to fight that you might have to solve. What kind of encounters are we going to have as we're going around?
I really like the dentist from Bucket Bash, like because it's not like an evil dentist. It's not like a Little Shop of Horrors, dentist. It's not like what's his Dr. Giggles type. It's just really like, it's just a person who just like really cares about your oral health, and it's just like, I'm not giving you candy, and it's one of those, it's like a social encounter that most likely players will end up being, fuck it, we're gonna beat him up. but just the dentist from Bucket Bash.
But in this case, the dentist is in fact a horrifying creature.
I mean, fair.
All right, so we've got the dentist for sure, and also I think, yes, it did work. All right, so the giveaway is now open. You can type !FParty in for a chance to win. Let's pause real quick. Jarrett, while I type in a little bit more about the dentist, why don't you tell us a little bit about what people could win today?
So, Kristen and Matt were clearing out scratch and dent stuff, and they said, do you want a big box of stuff? And I said, of course. Matt, it's their idea, like we'll give it away on the show. They sent me a big box of stuff, so I have kind of packaged together enough stuff for some pretty nice giveaways for the next couple months. I got some like zine pile giveaways, and like there's some oversized, there's some hardcovers and some other stuff like that. But the first one for today, now keep in mind, folks, if you're getting these are scratch and dent. These are copies that have been returned and been replaced for other people. So they're banged up, they're bented up, they're dinged up. Still totally usable and readable, and just awesome and great to have around. So it is the entirety of the Thousand Islands collection. It's all 8 of the numbered zines, and then the 2 art zines, the 2 hit myself in the face, the 2 drawings, and then Hantu.
When Jarrett showed me that, I threatened to quit so that I could win.
Tony wanted it. I was like, I'm sorry. So that'll be drawing number 1, and then drawing number 2 is a big old and you can see they've been gnome hammered. It's okay, but this is it's a OSE. So we've got advanced ref tome and player's tome, and then treasures, monsters, druid and illusionist spells, and a copy of Carcass Crawler. Number this is number 1. Words.
Damn, that's a good deal.
Awesome. I should have mentioned if you aren't following
0.
us, you do have to be following to get a chance to win. I did see a bunch of new follows, so I'm assuming a bunch of y'all figured that out. But if you typed in FParty but you weren't following, go ahead, hit that follow button, and so you can get entered into a chance to win. We'll pick that winner in just 1 second once we're done with our hex scroll, probably about 10 minutes.
And just so everybody knows, I will ship these. They'll ship from my house worldwide. We'll get them to you
from Florida to wherever you are.
Beautiful sunny Florida.
Do you know you can ship to Antarctica using USPS?
Mm-hmm.
Because it's all military bases down there.
Did you know that you can go to your U.S. Postal Service office and get stamps that you can put up to just 2 ounces to Canada and Mexico?
Yep.
And then 1 ounce to the rest of the world. So
all kinds of good stuff.
Ounces of stuff. In this case, it would be Christmas cards or some people, holiday cards.
So Tripforks, just make sure you're following us here on the channel. Click the follow button down next below over on Twitch, and then type in !FParty. But yeah, both two great prizes. Sorry about the delay on that. I always forget that once a month I have to re-enter all my information into Chatbot because it just won't remember it. And so but let's hop back over to the hex. So we've got a dozen houses, ice cream truck that drives around slowly. We've had dead tree and now undead tree both suggested as a third feature.
Undead tree.
Tree.
Oh yeah.
Dead tree. Whatever. We'll figure out what that means together later. And then another question that came up is weather. What's the weather like? Like when I asked what goes into a good hex, a lot of people wanted to know about weather. What's the weather like?
So go ahead.
No, you go ahead, Jarrett.
I was gonna say so we could flip it. Because usually on Halloween it's Unsolved Mysteries. It's Robert Stack. It's the X-Files. It's Halloween. It's misty and foggy. What happens if it's weird? It's like 9 p.m. and all of a sudden it's just bright.
That's what I was going to say.
Noon outside. Is that what you were going with?
I was going to say the same exact thing. I was going to say flip it, make it super creepy, but bright and sunny out.
Yeah. Bizarro trick or treat.
Yeah.
So you want to start misty and foggy, but it gets very bright at some point?
Yeah, the fog just clears off instead it gets worse.
Everywhere around it is misty and foggy, but as you enter that cul-de-sac, suddenly the sun comes out.
Is it creepily mundane? Like it's like Stepford feeling as you come into the neighborhood? Like
absolutely.
Everything's a little bit perfect.
Except for that undead tree. Something about it.
Very bright at some point.
Candy hail. I like that.
Stepford. Vibes. All right, cool. Encounters, we've got the dentist. What else? Do we have any other ones? Other things you're going to encounter. This could be from, obviously we're going bucket by bash, but you can pull in from other things if you want to.
Yeah.
Black Hole Sun music video vibes. Always night, full moons with clouds, candy hail, volcanic ash. A mimic that's a box of raisins.
That's pretty funny, actually.
I mean, just a box of raisins is a pretty bad encounter.
Yeah,
anyway.
I would rather it be a mimic. How about yeah?
Raisins.
Okay, so the encounter is the box of raisins, pieces of loot, mimic. I'm just saying.
All right. Mimic candy. All right, so what we've got? The dentist, the box of raisins is an encounter. We're looking for a couple NPCs also too, so not necessarily.
Tripfork says D9 members of Slipknot, so I'm kind of into that.
Whoa.
For an encounter or for
I don't know.
Loot, total loot.
Maybe.
We also have things that are specific to your hex, which is meant to be a table that's specific to your hex in my notes here. But we could just put D9 members of Slipknot down there also.
Yeah, I would love to take D9 members of Slipknot to my house, especially Corey Taylor. But
how many actual members of Slipknot were or are there?
I should ask Kristen. She would know.
Let's do D for other trick-or-treaters you encounter. They can be D9 members of Slipknot.
Oh yeah, there we go. Okay.
And you can swap candy with them after the fact. All right, let's see. We've got a Fig Newton mimic would be funny too. Duran Duran encounter Duran Duran fan who explains the deep meaning of those songs if you converse with them.
Ifrit coming in hot with the paper route kid, but they lob explosives.
Oh, like Paperboy from the video game? Yeah.
Oh, I like that one.
All right, is that an encounter?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Maybe they're like kind of like on opposite ends of the block with the ice cream truck just kind of circling the cul-de-sac.
Can I put in a dream NPC?
You can put in whatever you want. Yeah, y'all are totally welcome to type on this also.
I'm going to put in Betty White because I mean, I got to meet Dr. Ruth a few years back at Book Expo. That was one of my list of cool people that I wanted to meet. And Betty White is also on the list. Come on, audience, give us one more encounter.
We've got Matt Pike's mythical shirt. We've got a Juggalo encounter.
Yep.
Loot, unlabeled mixtapes. I like that.
Matt Pike's mythical shirt. You know, I know someone that saw Matt Pike play a show with a shirt on.
I don't believe you.
And it was in Florida too, of all places. I think it was in Tampa.
Could have happened.
So we've got some unlabeled mixtapes. We've got the Juggalo encounter. Juggalo actual. That's our fourth encounter.
I think, we'll have to run into D4 Juggalos.
D4 Juggalos.
And Juggalettes.
Any jugs will do. You're telling me you don't recognize my obscure costume guy.
Yeah.
That sounds like a good other trick-or-treater. I don't know why I'm typing this in when I can just cut and paste.
True.
Bam. Just upped my game. The Nanny, NPC's zombie Kurt Cobain.
With the Nanny, is it Nanny from Muppet Babies?
I don't know.
I think it's Fran Drescher.
Fran Drescher?
It would have to be Fran Drescher. I actually want that. I want that. That's our first NPC is Fran Drescher, 100%.
So we got Betty White and Fran Drescher.
Betty White and
I'm good with that. 100%. But it's Fran Drescher as the Nanny.
The Nanny.
Yeah.
As Fran Drescher.
Saint OPT says big red dog costume as a trick or treat.
That's total loot. It's total loot.
Loot? I think that's another good trick or treater.
Okay, that works. Yeah. That works. I am actually going to wear this to breakfast tomorrow, and I'm going to drive my vehicle tomorrow with it on, just because it's fun. I think raccoon riding capybara makes good fourth encounter.
Yeah. I do love Saint OPT's comment here. A guy that asks you what COVID vaccine you got.
Oh my God. But where does that go?
Yo, are you Team Pfizer?
How do you feel about Loot sweat-stained Bathory shirt from 1993?
Oh, I'm 100% on board with that.
And then we've got Loot some exquisitely carved pumpkins as another suggestion.
I like that. Gotta have at least one classic.
And that is tomorrow night for me is carving the pumpkins.
Hulk Hogan as a televangelist. What a nightmare that was.
I just read that people really liked the Any Jugs Will Do comment.
Yeah.
I just got to that point in the chat. All the NPCs are Muppet babies.
Mm-hmm.
I like that.
Oh.
Is that
Fran Drescher as a Muppet baby nanny playing Fran Drescher? That sounds like an absolute nightmare encounter.
Yeah. I feel like encounters like half half of everybody is Muppets is really good.
Oh yeah. This is giving me some inspiration for another horror game here.
maybe we'll run this sometime this week.
Yeah. Half of everyone is a Muppet.
And there's one question left. Most importantly,
what is this place called?
Oh.
And I mean, the answer is Florida.
Yeah. Just
this place has got to be inspired by Kirby, not your real life. So
okay.
So Kirby, what you? I mean, like it can be something you pull from Bucket Bash. It could be something that's named after whatever you want. What are we calling this? Maybe it's the neighborhood name.
Man, I'm drawing a blank here, man. I'm gonna ask the audience. I'm gonna use my Ask the Audience card.
We've got Whisper the Donkey. We've got Cheery Oaks.
Cheery Oaks.
The Death of the American Dream.
Or The American Dream.
AKA Florida, come
on. Fuck. I don't know.
I like Cheery Oaks. I like
Cheery Oaks. It also sounds like Florida. So I think, let's call it Cheery Oaks. But it'll be on the sign, it'll be crossed out, and in red paint, it'll say Weary Oaks.
Ooh. Oh man, that for whatever reason cut in a very different way than everything else I had cut and pasted. Cheery Oaks / Weary Oaks. All right. Hydrangea Blush does say name inspiration Sumter County, Florida. All right, so we've got Cheery / Weary Oaks. It's a dark cul-de-sac with something, apparently. I think it was a dozen houses. Theme songs and ominous music play as you move around. It's surrounded by mist and fogs, but very bright, with Stepford vibes as you get to the middle. Physical features / locations. We've got about a dozen houses, an ice cream truck moving slowly around that never stops, and an undead tree somewhere in the mix there. D4 encounters that we got: the dentist, a box of raisins, paper route kid hurling explosives, raccoon riding a capybara. Half of everybody you meet is a muffin. Oh, we do need, I guess, one more encounter then so we can get it up to D6.
Oh yeah, D6
encounters. So if you got an encounter idea that you typed in once, type it back in, let us see it again, or if somebody else has another idea, we'll come back for that. 2 NPCs we've got so far: Fran Drescher as the nanny, and Betty White. At least one of them will be a Muppet, potentially.
50% chance.
D4 pieces of loot: Mimic Candy, unlabeled mixtapes, sweat-stained Bathory shirt from 1993, 1D3 exquisite, D3 exquisitely carved pumpkins. I think I saw brownie edges in there also too.
Oh yeah, give me that crust. Give me that brownie crust.
It's a good crust call out.
Yeah, it is.
Brownie edges / crust, which means if we need another type of candy, what's the best thing you can get?
Oh, a stick and poke tattoo artist.
A stick and poke tattoo artist.
He gives you tattoos for free. That's the loot.
That's the loot?
Yeah.
All right.
He's just sitting on one of the porches and he just real quick.
Free tattoos. Is he an encounter then? Is he an NPC? Is he just part of the loot structure?
Just keep him as a loot structure. He doesn't talk.
Big dressed up as cops, Home Alone guys, burglar, full tins of Pepsi.
Sentient bag of candy corn. That would be a terrifying encounter because candy corn is literally garbage.
Okay, this show's over. You just insulted my third favorite candy.
The problem is there are two types of my firm belief is the reason this is such a huge argument is because there are two types of candy corn. And one type is delicious and one type is garbage. But not everybody has had both types, or you've only ever had one type and you're convinced that that's what it is. But there is garbage candy corn out there. There's also delicious candy corn out there.
They're both delicious.
All right, how do I log off of this?
Awesome. So we've got our first dark expression. We'll clean this up a little bit. I'll let Kirby roll back through it and make any additional notes. And then at some point we'll do something with all of them. Who knows what?
Sweet.
Maybe by this time next year there'll be a dark expressions booklet you can get from Exalted Funeral.
Maybe during
but not necessarily because there's no absolutely zero commitment being made at this point to that process. There will be a Google document where all these things live for sure. And so I'm always happy to share obscure information about candy corn whenever it comes up. 100%. Dice Maven theorizes that a lot of people hate candy corn because they were told to hate it like they were told to hate Nickelback.
I grew up eating candy corn, man. I trust me, I know. I used to get those little pumpkin ones, and they were just disgusting.
So good.
Nope, false.
Now Duvelman Dice is comparing candy corn to meatloaf, which I don't know if he means meatloaf the performer or meatloaf the food.
Both,
either or.
Yeah.
And so...
but what if it's meatloaf made out of meatloaf?
What if it's meatloaf made out of meatloaf selling meatloaf?
Yeah, Blake Ryan says meatloaf selling meatloaf. It's a meatloaf salesman.
Awesome. I think we accidentally skipped one of the segments this week, but we have been on for a little bit over an hour. So I think we're going to go ahead and call it. We did forget to talk about how the sausage is made this month. But I want to give everybody a chance. Kirby, tell people again where they can find you and all the good things that you have now as you're alive, not in the future. Don't give us weird things. In the year 2021, where can people find you?
You can find me on Twitter at ttrpgs. You can find me on itch at disastertourism.itch.io. You can find me on TikTok, though I'm not as present on there lately, at disastertourism_. And yeah, we've got the Itch Fun for Crust is happening now, and we've got 2 games coming out next month, and we've got a serial dark fantasy zine setting coming out that will be coming out in the next months for a system agnostic project that we're working on. That's going to be really cool. So
That's a great hat, Tony.
I just read a book about cowboys.
I was wondering why you hadn't read any books since you were Shakespeare, or since you were riding a bike.
Since I had read a book about bikes, I'd taken a little while to get my last book read, but yeah. I did get my last book read.
That's good.
Jarrett, if they want to find you, where should they scream into the void at?
All the internet's email for projects. Always love to look at a thing and share information and ideas at projects. That's plural, projects at exaltedfuneral.com. I always want to say at emergencyumbrella.com because that was my old record label. I was like start typing it out. Projects at exaltedfuneral.com, and then over on the server formerly known as Exalted Funeral, the Necropolis. You can find me there on Discord. And I'm always down to help you make cool stuff and talk about RPGs and things like that. And yeah.
I don't know how much it cost when you first got it, but if you wanted to buy emergencyumbrella.com today, do you know how much it would cost you?
I don't know.
$2,000 $695.
Really? I wonder who owns it these days.
I don't know. Someone's camping on it though. You can get a hugedomains.com.
It could be Warner Brothers, because we kind of, when we dissolved, we owed Warner Brothers some money. Story for another millennia. Not on this show.
Awesome. You can find us at +1EXP across all social media platforms at +1EXP.com. If you want a beard as magnificent as mine or Kirby's, head over to +1EXP.com. Check out our bombs. It's a low-key way to LARP your way through your day. Different bombs inspired by different traditional RPG stats. You can pick up our games there along with some of the games from other folks that we love. We've got Great Soul Train Robbery by Alexi Sargent that'll be up there soon, and we've got a bunch of copies of Hieronymus that'll be up there soon by Lori also too. And I am you can find us also at TonyPlusOne.itch.io for all of our games digitally, or you can get iToaster on Exalted Funeral. Check over to our Exalted Funeral for all the things we've talked about today. Let's go ahead and pick some winners. This first one is going to be for the 1,000 Island thing bundle. Here we go. Closing the giveaway. Picking the winner. And we've got C Fragment, who is our first winner, who is a member of the +1 Discord, who has done some amazing Down We Go things. C Fragment, go ahead and shoot me a message over on Twitter or on Discord. We'll get that all taken care of. Unless they don't respond, and then it's just mine. We're gonna pick a second winner for that OSE bundle.
Oh,
and that is going to be Goblin Archives. Goblin Archives. Go ahead. Same thing. If you want to shoot me a message, either if you're in the Exalted Discord, you can find me there. Shoot me a message,
or you could shoot me a message. I'll get you.
Oh, if you get, I guess I don't need to be in the middle of any of this. That's even better if I don't have to do anything.
We carry Liminal Horror, also a Halloween holiday related.
There you go.
Zine at Exalted Funeral.
So go check all of those out. Trying to think, is there anything else we need to do before we sign off? Did you do it all?
Just want to say thanks to everybody for being cool, and happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween. Support your local PBS dogs. Weird. So story about Wishbone, who I was dressed up as, if you didn't pick that up.
Oh, wait, what?
Yeah, right? You thought it was another PBS dog.
No, I'm kidding.
Joe, the guy who played Wishbone. So I grew up in Allen, Texas, which is the city in which Color Dynamics, the company that shot Barney and Wishbone and a lot of other things, was located. I got to hang out with Joe when I was like 5 and he was like 7. His sister broke her arm jumping up and down on my sister's waterbed. And then I never saw them again after that. So I don't know. I don't know what's up. I could have been Barf. This could have been a pretty good Barf costume also too. But yeah, I just wanted to keep the PBS dog theme running nice and strong. So, with that said, remember, alive or dead, that we will see you at the next
funeral party.
Bye.
Oh.
It's a good week sign off. Oh, I hadn't muted myself yet. Oh, it's even better. People can still hear me talking.